there is one addition. It would be another letter under item 14, a letter from the Métis District 21 that is an addition to. Is there anything else?
Yes.
If I may, I'd like to add 6.3, and it's the letter that's been circulating for signatures from the Royal Bank of Canada. I just had some questions for our either administration, I guess, before signing said letter. So under new business, let's call it transfer of financial institutions, questions on the RBC signatory letter.
Okay, anything else?
Yes. I would like to make this 6.4. I'd like to talk when we get to about our audited financials.
Just to clarify, our financial officer or finance manager is not here this evening to answer that.
Oh, okay. No, this would be for council on posting and making public council's expenses as referred to.
That's a different item.
Well, it was included in our audited financials.
Yeah, that's done by the province. That's a regulation province, that has to be part of that. I can address that if you want at that time. I could answer that, you know.
We could maybe just, if you have a question around that, can it just come up during the CAO's report about questions
Well,
on that?
it's about in all of council's expenses and claims.
Okay,
So
bring it up
it
during
wouldn't
the
be a CAO question, it would be a council. These would be council questions.
Councilor Martins.
So may I suggest, I mean, can it serve as businesses rising when we go to the minutes, because the audited financials are part of those minutes? Can it be not 5.2 because it's business arising from those minutes?
Yes.
Because you're questioning what already exists, and it's just business arising as opposed to new business.
Okay, yeah.
So 5.2.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it would be business arising from the minutes. It wouldn't be a 5.2. Yeah. And business arising doesn't necessarily have to be a specific agenda item. It could be just brought up on a question on the minutes at the time.
Okay.
Yeah. So it won't be an addition to the agenda. It is just going to be a question that you can raise at the time.
Okay.
Normally I see on the agenda those business arising. I just don't see that here. So for formality's sake, should we have business arising? Because normally it is part of the agenda sub items, and I don't see that reflected here. I'm looking at it. I look at 5 and 5.1. I don't see business arising.
Minutes, no, business arising is under 6.1.
You know what? Then I stand corrected for my 6.3 item. It should really be new business 8.2. Yes, 8.2.
8.2.
So sorry, mine should be 8.2 because that's new business, and yours should be 6.3. Sorry, Judy.
Well, like I said, we're not going to add that as an agenda item, but we can. So yeah, I guess yeah, the Royal Bank transfer would go under 8.2. That's a good point. Yeah. And
Mine would be audited financials.
well, no, you'll just bring it up as a question. We'll mark it down as an agenda item specifically. You can ask at that time. Okay, so we have the two changes, 8.2 and 14, I guess 14.4, the new letter. With those two changes, can I get a motion to adopt the agenda? James makes that motion.
As amended.
All in favor? John, I didn't see your hand. Oh, and you should hear me best because I'm right close to the computer. Can't hear me. How do we work this out here?
We don't have technical expertise to address it, sorry.
I think it's because of your microphone being on. It's because of your microphone being on so close to the computer.
Let's try, can you hear me now better? Yeah. Okay. So it's a real catch, if I put my mic on, you don't hear me, and if I don't put my mic on, the rest of the gallery can't hear me, so I'll
Speak up.
I'll try and speak up a little bit louder, and then everybody can hear me, go from there.
But it doesn't pick up on, the recording.
That's what I mean, it's a catch, so if you really miss something critical and you're not sure, John, make sure you ask before we vote, so. We had the two changes on the agenda and we're voting to accept that. Are you okay with those two amendments?
I didn't hear that last part.
This is, there was two amendments to the agenda. One was 8.2. It's a transfer document that is being circulated to council. And there was 14, a letter coming in that we need to deal with.
Yeah, and that's the revision.
Yeah.
Yes,
This is terrible, yeah, we'll have to approve this, but, all right, so with that, we approved the minute, or the agenda, and we'll move on to our scheduled delegations. We've got, Musqueam Medical Center, is that how it's pronounced? Maswa, sorry, okay, and Ken Drysdale, you guys come on up to the front. Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry, so yeah, when you come up, perhaps you could just start with a brief introduction because we do broadcast our council meetings and somebody may be watching these tomorrow or the next day and would like to know who you are and why you're here to start. And you can see that to speak, just hit that red button and off you go. Thank you very much.
I'll get that maybe up on the screen. Hopefully I can talk you through the slides.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mayor and Council, for giving us this time. I appreciate it. Yeah, my name is Ken Drysdale. I'm chairman of the Masco Medical Center Board out of Grand Prairie. And I'm a farmer in the region. I was in the pipeline business for 45 years, taking care of farm. Now I'm just retired farming. I'm trying to build a medical center for the northwest region of Alberta. And yeah, we're trying to get around to every village, town, hamlet, municipality in the northwest. Let them know what we're doing in Grand Prairie that'll enhance health in the region and give students from this area the opportunity to get a medical degree in return to the community. How many know about our project or heard about what we're trying to do? Not too many? Okay. I'll hand over to Brent here. He's around most days now.
Just trying to make sure he's on the right road most of the time. Brent Hoyseth, I'm the treasurer of Masco Medical Center. I'm a retired partner from MNP LLP. And Saskatchewan boy originally, but found my way up to the Peace in 2000. A 5-year transfer with my firm, and I'm still in the Peace. So living in Grand Prairie, raised my family, and we're committed to the region and very committed to this project.
Yeah, the Peace Region grows on the Saskatchewan Rough Riders.
We're in the playoffs.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll get going. We've been to about 24 communities so far. This is my third, fourth time driving through High Prairie, like Slave Lake, Red Earth. And we gave a presentation to the Great Lakes Council here about 2 months ago. Anyway, I'll get going. Who we are, we're improving the quality of life and health outcomes in Northwest Alberta. Masco is an innovative Alberta-based not-for-profit registered charity in Ottawa, committed to accelerating the process and improving medical access to medical specialists and family physicians. Any surplus funds from our project will be reinvested back into health and education in Northwest Alberta. I got about 2 subjects here I'll be talking about. One is a specialist diagnosis clinic, and another one is the building that allows U of A expansion for training family physicians at a Grand Prairie. Masco is a Cree word meaning bear. The bear is an important symbol representing good medicine and power spirit. The Peace Region is one of the best places to live, work, and raise a family. That's why we're all here and do what we do and volunteer our time to help improve our community. And yet our residents have a poor outcome, and our health system is bogged down. And that's just plain wrong. Led by residents of Peace Region, Masco is brought together by a shared goal of improving the health outcomes. Next slide is our board in Grand Prairie. We put it together in 2018. That's how long we've been working with Alberta Health and the province to get this project off the ground. When we put it together, we looked for a good variety of experience in commercial building, government, financial, insurance, legal, and First Nation community involvement, plus medical professional Dr. Hugo Bertuzzi out of Grand Prairie. Our service will be fully funded by the current Alberta Healthcare Insurance Plan, just like it is today. And will be funded, our physicians will be funded through an innovative ARP arrangement, which is alternative relationship plan with Alberta Health, who will pay the physicians and some of the overhead of the facility. They'll be working we want to salary our specialists 5 days a week, 8 to 5, so that they got time to spend with a patient that's beyond the family physician's training to diagnose. So they're not the fee for service 20 minutes and pushed out the door. Changing health outcomes in Northwestern Alberta. Back in 1993, you could see a specialist in 3 to 4 weeks. Once your family physician thought you should see one, now you're looking at 17 to 18 weeks. And if you get misdiagnosed after traveling to Edmonton, Red Deer, Calgary, you could be back in the cycle for another 17, 18 weeks. That's why quite often if someone gets diagnosed after a couple of years, usually the response is, if we'd caught this sooner, it'd be a different outcome. Next slide is our access to specialists is 0.06 for every 1,000 in the rural Northwest Alberta region. And in urban, it's 0.29. So 5 to 1 is the ratio differential, urban to rural. Benefits to the Peace Country. The new innovative not-for-profit model will help the Peace Country improve access to specialists and quality of care, not only retain but attract doctors to the area. No overall increase in healthcare costs for the healthcare system. Will actually reduce it by intercepting the disease sooner before it becomes more serious. Our goal is to get patients set up for a treatment plan within 10 days of walking through our center doors. We vow to ensure patients don't get stuck in a referral system and follow the process and utilizing virtual technology to call in other specialists throughout Western Canada. And it'll save families and patients time and expenses not having to travel to the larger cities to see a specialist. The next slide is currently the system that we're under. You go to the family physician, he comes up with a treatment plan, the symptoms don't go away. You get the referral, and if you're misdiagnosed, you go back through the referral system. The next slide is what our model is based on. The family physician hands you over to the Mascot, and within 10 days, we try and come up with a diagnosis by collaboration with specialists. About a year, what's this now? This is 2 years ago, we met up with the University of Alberta. They heard what we're trying to do in Grand Prairie. And that's when Premier Smith took over in November. And one of her mandates on November 16th was for University of Edmonton and University of Calgary to work with post-secondary education, Lethbridge and Grand Prairie, train family physicians in rural communities. So the University of Alberta reached out to us and asked for a meeting, and we went and met with them, asked them at the end why they called us, and they said because we're going to have a phase 2 expansion by 2026, and we need a community leadership like your group to help us find space for that side of the project. So let's see here. We'll collaborate with panels of specialists in our diagnosis clinic from across Western Canada through an app system. Through referrals and a collaborative team approach, physicians will work closely with the Mascot Center to further challenging cases. Next slide, and we're going to go into a bit of the facility now that we've designed for the space in Grand Prairie. It's right in front of the hospital. If you go to the next slide, anyone that's been to the new hospital in Grand Prairie, it's sorry. I got it. Yeah. So so it's just south of the parkade and just right across from the emergency and right out the front doors. It's a 2.2 acre lot. We've just received the lease agreement for that from Alberta Infrastructure and NWP. It's under a land trust that's going to be governed by the college. And we've just received word of that and waiting for ministerial sign off. Next picture is the 3 floors that we currently have it structured for.
I don't think your laser's working.
Well, yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, here's going to be the University of Alberta teaching clinic. They'll have 20 resident doctors in there once they open in the fall of 2026. It's a 2-year program, so 10 a year will graduate out into the Northwest communities. The second floor is commercial and retail, and there we're going to have a restaurant on this end. There will be pharmaceutical and full medical supplies stored in this area, and right here is daycare for the hospital staff and NWP med students. And if it doesn't fill, it's going to be a 24-hour daycare capable of 80 to 100 kids per shift. And then because we put a parkade underneath the building, we put a terrace over top. So this is about 5,200 square feet of play area for the kids out of the daycare. And then behind 5,500 square feet to house the 80 to 100 kids per shift. The third floor is going to be our diagnosis clinic, currently set up for 14 specialist offices, 10 exam rooms, and a day surgery room, plus a getaway lounge for the doctors to have a soup and sandwich or do some reading. Yeah, the parkade entrance is right here. Goes down in here. Oh, here's the hospital parkade in behind it. And then emergency is down off this corner. The one thing, positioning it here in front of the hospital is it'll take about 50% of the walk-in stress off the emergency ward, the emergency entrance. stats last year showed 50% of the people that walk in there should be going to a family clinic, but they don't have a family physician, so they're going to the emergency, tying up the staff that should be looking after those that are in more critical need. The next page, University of Alberta Academic Teaching Clinic, like I said, it'll be 22,000 square feet. The total facility, including parkade, is 103,000. There'll be 20 residency students on site, 10 in first year, 10 in second. And each graduate that comes out of the residency will be capable of dealing with 900 to 1,100 patients per year. Their idea is to recruit rural, train rural, and retain rural. Masco Medical Center will be a key partner in working with the U of A, and will house the teaching clinic. Clinic will have extended hours. This is the U of A clinic. Practice including evenings and weekends, and reduced pressures on the emergency, like I said. And they said if someone calls after hours, the doctor answers, not a staff member. We're working with the NAP program, that's the Northern Alberta Medical Program, to recruit students from rural Alberta and BC. That'd be Northeast BC mainly. Train them in Grand Prairie and northern communities, and then they'll stay in practice. And this is proven by the Prince George model, where 75% of graduates are working in rural communities. So for a young student, to next page on the medical school program, 3 components of training to become a doctor. First, you got to obtain a bachelor's degree, then 4-year undergrad, and then 2 years over at the clinic. That's 10 years for you to return back to your community in High Prairie, if that's where you want to practice. And to go on and become a general internist, it's also another 4. So a student could leave here and it'd take 14 to 15 years to come back. But in that training time, they're able to come over on long weekends and spend time with family and stay connected to the communities. That's why they usually will return. It's a tremendous opportunity for the NAP medical students to closely work with the University of Family Medicine, and collaboration with the Masco Medical Center and its partners on training employment opportunities for the graduates and keep the talent in the region. Have an NWP, the University of Alberta, and the Masco Specialist Clinic in northern rural communities will benefit us all. The next one is our donors to date. Mainly it's been the City of Grand Prairie, County of Grand Prairie, and Municipal District of Greenview. They first helped us out with a business plan to give to Minister Chandro in 2021. And then last fall, gave us $500,000 each because we had a budget already to engineering design. We didn't want to wait for government decisions and then start that program because it would just delay it another couple of years. Clear Hills County, we gave them a presentation. They're working us into their budgets for the next 2 or 3 years, a certain amount a year. They'll keep us informed. So 2 or 3 other communities. The MD of Saddle Hills a month ago, an hour after we gave our presentation, gave us $3.5 million grant for 2025 for the facility. And back the page there, I should have said the city of 2 counties are giving us 3.5, so we've got over 14.5 million already committed. A couple of stakeholders in the region, AltaGas and Cenovus, heard what we're doing, phoned us and gave us 30,000 from one and 20 from the other, help us with some overheads. Support the Girls Foundation, Grand Prairie in February, gave us 50 grand from a fundraiser, and the Masco board members, we've put in over 500,000 of our personal money to get it to this point since 2018, and well over 27,000 volunteer hours, and well over 65,000 kilometers. Where are we at today? Our design's completed. We're just trying to do the final packages, and we're going out to bid Monday to 5 GCs in Alberta. The University of Alberta long-term tenant agreement, that's being worked out between Alberta Health and U of A. And I spoke to the Dean of Family Medicine today, and she's having a meeting tomorrow and hopes to have us that by Christmas time. The 6-year land agreement that I mentioned earlier with NWP and the Land Trust is in place. We just got to get the signatures done, and it's for 40 years plus 2 10-year renewals. The tender documents going out Monday. BOIs for facility tenants on, especially on the second floor for retail. There was 4 to 5 applicants for each space, and we've interviewed them all once so far, and we're gonna try and make our selections early in the new year so that they're engaged before we're building the building and try and do their tenant improvements. Groundbreaking ceremony is to be determined yet. I wanna make sure all the signatures are in place and we have an actual start date. And it's, it always slips a little bit when you're waiting on some government signatures, but they've kind of pushed us back into the winter, so I'm pretty sure it's gonna be early spring as soon as we can get out there. We may do some civil work prior to our infrastructure, but we're not sure. Capital fundraising in process, indigenous consultation ongoing. We've left lots of room in the building. We're in contact with Horse Lake, Sturgeon Lake, and Duncan. And we've left lots of room for indigenous culture and art in the building, and lots of room for donor involvement. Our budget a year and a half ago from a third party in Edmonton, engineering design firm, was 30 million. We've been using the budget of 35 million since, because we know how things go. And when I first approached the city and the 2 counties about that, Brent had to block the door because they were all running for it. So we figured out a better approach is to look at, what's the impact on the capital investment for Northwest Alberta when you look at 210,000 residents. Our region, it works out closely to $170 for every man, woman, and child. The next slide, the benefit of the Peace Region 5 ways not only retain but also attract doctors to the area, especially with the new hospital and new facility out front. Improve quality of care to patients in the region, employee retention for employers in the region due to improved access to health care and overall increased health care. Investment in research, education, and healthcare in Northwest Alberta. And the recent census in 2021 for High Prairie times the 170 is 404,000. We're not here for that ask. It's just, we just spelled that out in every presentation because we don't know the financial situation of anyone we present to, and if they can, they will, and if they can't, we totally understand. It won't change the approach or the delivery of our program. The one ask that we do want, just the other thing is if any councils do decide to, we don't want it impacting the tax base of their residents. If they don't have it in reserve funds or something like that, we don't want impacting the tax to residents. The only one major ask we have is if you agree with what we're trying to do here, that you give us a letter of support and address it to Minister LaGrange, Health Minister LaGrange, the Premier, and CCS. And that's our presentation. Any questions?
Councilor Winkle.
Thank you for not asking for $500,000 tonight. That was my first question. Opening in 2 years. That's pretty ambitious. You haven't got a shovel in the ground yet. We all know how long it took you to build your hospital. How confident are you of that date?
Yeah.
And then, it's a serious question.
Yeah.
How confident are you that is 2026? Are you thinking like 27, 28 or?
Well, we're working with U of A. We've let them know that we've slipped a few months due to the government not signing off on some of this stuff, especially their agreement with the government to expand the phase 2. Our goal was to be August of 2026, and we've lost a few months of that, but we're gonna look at ways of speeding up our construction once we get the GC selected, and working 24 hours if we have to through next winter on, electrical, mechanical, that type of stuff. So.
And you said that you're gonna be choosing your general contractor on Monday?
No, we're going out to bid.
Oh, bid on Monday.
We're going out to 5 GCs on Monday to bid, and we'll give them till December 15th or 18th, give them 5 to 6 weeks to bid it, and then we'll choose them through January, and then start laying out plans through February and March to get shovel on the ground and get going.
And they're all fully aware that we're coming. Like they're
Yeah.
aware of the project.
Yeah.
They're all excited, ready to go at it.
Yeah, we sent them a teaser
Yeah.
a couple months ago.
Well, keep us updated on that part of it. It seems, at first glance, you know what, this looks like a really good thing, so. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Councilor Stamos, comments?
So I really like this idea. Albertans have been crying for change to the healthcare system. As long as I've been on council, it's like, how do we recruit and retain? I'm actually surprised that you have to fundraise for this.
Well, we are approaching the Alberta government. You would know Travis Taves, the past finance minister, and my cousin Wayne. They've already done some homework, and they're going in November here, so that we're in the 2025 provincial budget. What they'll give us, we're not sure of, but every indication from industry and local businesses and that is, we shouldn't have an issue with raising it in the next 2 to 3 years.
So, again, you are building kind of like on the hospital side. So does that not fall under healthcare or?
Alberta Health, but not AHS.
Just for an operating agreement with Alberta Health.
Yeah.
They're not running, AHS won't have any control.
The University of Alberta won't do this if AHS is governing the building.
Right.
Because it handcuffs their students. Nothing against AHS, they have their job in the industry, but where we got this was from, but everyone in this room knows somebody or personally or in the family or neighbor that's had a bad health issue in their life and not able to get the help they need. And I personally, in 2002, had to take that journey with my wife. She's still here today, but we travel all over North America. And where this model come from was meeting with the directors of the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota, in 2017. And the next day, they sent me a letter of intent to partner with us virtually to help us open the clinic in Grand Prairie. And then it's evolved to what it is. That's taken it on totally. There's a lot of issues with doing cross-border and information sharing. And they also got swamped with the years of the COVID, their medical professionals. So they had to step back from their virtual stuff. They did 91,000 virtuals in 2021 to start buying out their medical professionals. So they're still helping us when we need it, but they showed us the whole program, how to open a clinic like this and be collaborative with specialists. And the thing we need to get in Alberta is we need to change the dialogue of our specialists. It should always be me and my colleagues reviewed your files, not I saw your file and here's what I want you to do and here's where I'm going to send you. It should be me and my colleagues. So if we can change that narrative, we'll be way more successful.
Team approach.
Yeah, so I want to thank you because I do know that these do exist in other countries,
Yeah.
and they are state of the art. They are very successful, and thank you for bringing this to our attention for those who aren't keeping up with what's going on out there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Councilor Martins.
Nice to meet you, Ken and Brent. Thank you for the presentation and time today. So this board, first of all, my first question, I heard something about Ottawa. Did you say that Muskwa is part of what was the Ottawa connection?
No, just we're registered there. It's a registered charity and not-for-profit organization so that we can give tax receipts to donors and stuff like that.
Would that be impacted if you were registered in Alberta?
We're registered across Canada.
Yeah, approximately,
So Canadian
right through.
incorporated federal
Perfect.
and registered in Alberta to operate.
Okay. Headquartered in Ottawa.
Nope.
Nope.
Headquartered
In Alberta. Okay, cool, very good. This board that is here on page 3 has been around since 2017 or just recently?
2018, we formed it in 2018.
Okay. And so do you already have a set of audited financials
Yes.
on your website?
I'll check it posted.
Yeah, I don't know if it's on our website.
do you function customarily, like if there's an AGM at some point during the year, or?
Yeah, we have monthly board meetings, yeah, every month, third week,
Okay,
every month
and when's your next AGM?
is, next November 20-something.
Next month, next year?
Yeah, no,
Month.
Oh, okay, very good. Excellent. Well, thank you. Nice to meet you both.
Yeah.
Oh, lastly, just semantics. Did you intentionally mean to spell center T-E-R, or did you meant to do that?
we get
To
questions on
appease our American brothers and sisters? Or just phonetics? Just the phonetics of it.
It's a North American spelling, not a British spelling.
Got it. Very good. Thank you.
Councillor Yashishin.
Just first off, thank you very much for the presentation. It was very good, very thorough, very interesting, absolutely. Could you give any, and I know you've said this before, but just repeat it, what's the greatest strength that you have with this? With what you're presenting, the greatest strength to this system compared to, I don't want to compare it to that, but that
Oh,
what you have
what's
here.
the greatest strength of this project?
Right.
Is on the first floor of the U of A, their collaboration of family doctors working together, and ours on the third floor, collaboration of specialists. It's no different than anyone running a business. When they got a problem, they call the guys into a boardroom, sit down, and figure it out. And that's what we're striving for. So, more eyes on the subject.
Thanks for that, for sure.
All right.
I'd just like to echo, this is really exciting, and I want to congratulate you, seeing it's been a long road. So way to go to stick with it, and you've done some amazing work to get here.
Yeah, Mayor, we've been through 3 premiers, 4 health ministers. I can't tell you how many deputy ministers of Alberta Health Services.
That's a lot of stick with it to get this far. So yeah, I commend you on that, because that would not be an easy project. And you know, like you say, tons of volunteer time going into it. It's exciting. I imagine for you guys to see this getting so close to becoming a reality. So, and from my perspective, I'm going to say it's very exciting to have this in the north, because I agree with a lot of the assumptions that you've made, because I have seen that too, where you know, people that are trained in the north will likely stay in the north, and we do need some more local people staying in the north. So I think that's very exciting, and it'll be great for the region. I think it's fantastic. So thank you very much for all you've done.
Yeah, no problem. It's just when you see it, when you know what it can look like at the end of the tunnel, because you've experienced it, you don't want to see families going through what our family went through because something was misdiagnosed for a couple of years. So. And the other thing I did learn from Rochester is we do have the best health professionals in the world. It's just our system that's letting them down. So we need to support them.
Yeah, keep spreading the word.
Yeah. You good then?
Yes, thank you very much for coming down and taking the time to enlighten us.
Yeah. Oh, the other thing too, once we get rolling, probably through 2025, we'd like kids to have a representative that would come to. We might set up once or twice a year where we could all get together and see which regions need the most, so that these graduates don't sit in Grand Prairie or Sexsmith or Beaver Lodge, that they get out to these outlying regions. So we'll put committees together to help drive the graduates out to the need areas, and the U of A will work with us on that. So
Yeah, wonderful.
okay.
Absolutely wonderful. Councillor Janaka.
So you were asking for a letter of support. Do you have like a template that you can send us and that we can fill in the blanks and?
We got some language in our presentation, and we'd like you to be creative on your own words. But if you do need help, just send us an email to Jessie, and she's got a few that she's helped out different councils with.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John.
Yeah.
Yeah, is it?
No, but they're still out there at
I know.
the
See them all the time.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay, so moving on our agenda then, we'll move on to public delegations.
Pick me, pick me.
Yeah, you've been waiting patiently, thank you for that.
This is gonna be so much better for you guys.
Yeah.
Okay. My name's
And
Brenda
will
Cologne.
Brenda get you
Oh,
to,
sorry.
yeah, get that.
My name is Brenda Cologne, for those of you who don't know me. I wrote this because it might get hard. So I'm gonna read. I would like to talk to you for a few minutes about Amita Detox Center. It was founded 49 years ago. For 25 years, it grew and helped many, many people. The then director was given many awards for her work with addictions and helping the community. Awards as high as from the Premier of Alberta. Since then, the center has changed directors twice. About 3 years ago, a wonderful person named Robin Stockman was appointed executive director. With Robin, her staff, and a new board, myself as chairperson, we are working towards bringing back the positive, helpful reputation of the Amita Center that was left by Donna Smith. To that end, I'm here to invite all or any of you to our annual awareness walk on November 23rd at 11 a.m. We will be walking starting from the center around the block or two, led by Constable Isaac, also a board member. We would love to have a peace officer follow in their car. Last year, we partnered with the Friendship Center, a wonderful group of people and very community-minded. This year, we've invited them and other groups to join us. We will start and end at the center, where we will provide hot dogs and hot chocolate in our shelter. This will give people a chance to see where the center provides sleeping accommodations for up to 10 people each night. A shelter, I might add, that always has people every night, no matter the weather. And given the area we live in the north, through the winter months, we are full, 10 people. Besides the RCMP personnel, the Amita Center staff are the people who could name every street person in High Prairie. And like the RCMP, we have been involved with each of them multiple times. The center offers overnight shelter and provides coffee and sandwich both when they arrive and when they leave in the morning. The people who seek nightly shelter are also offered the opportunity at counseling for their addictions. Many choose only the warm night that evening and the morning coffee and sandwich. Sadly, this has been seen a few times over the last few years where help has been given at the shelter, but the individuals chose to leave and then perish. Unfortunately, the town has given the impression that no help was given by anyone, as stated in the paper, when in actuality, the Amita Center has been there helping all along. It is our goal to again become more visible in our helping. We again would like to invite any or all of you to our walk and a representative from the South Peace News will be joining us. It would give you a chance to see the shelter, not the actual detox part where there are up to 6 residents. That's a whole confidentiality thing. But in the shelter, it will give you a chance to see where we house a lot of our homeless every night. Feed them a sandwich and coffee at night, sandwich and coffee in the morning. Short and sweet.
Thank you for that. Just see if anybody has questions for you.
Could you say that date again, November
November 23rd
23rd
at 11 o'clock.
at 11 o'clock?
It's a Saturday.
Any other questions?
Maybe if you were looking for a peace officer, you could just send me a quick letter or even an email.
Okay.
And just requesting the police officer for that date and what time you require for whatever. We can probably make arrangements for that. Just do that.
That would be awesome.
And I can give you a business card, or the email address,
Super.
or you can find it at 4th
Oh, yeah. I'll find it, not a problem.
Okay.
Or
Can
not.
I just take 1 second to put my nose in somebody else's business? The center, the Alberta government has an accreditation for the detox center, for group homes, for whatever AHS is helping fund. Accreditation is very hard to get. And they really make sure that the staff and the facility is well organized, well trained, safety issues are taken care of. They send people to come and check. They come and check everything about the place. We have 1 piece of accreditation left. So any group who has their accreditation, it is the Alberta government, AHS, who takes care of it. Just to answer your question.
Okay, thank you very much for coming in, and thanks for all the work you do at the AT Center. Anybody else as a public delegation? All right, seeing none. Yes.
Call it a quick break.
Oh. Okay, we'll take a quick 10-minute break and then we'll get going.
Yeah,
We have to